Let's get started. First of all, I just want to say good morning to everybody online. Welcome to the BGL Online Summit. This is a virtual event showcasing some of our RegTech 2026 sponsors. If you haven't met me before, my name is Lily Williams and I'm the Partnerships Manager at BGL, and today I'm going to be your host. So this session is part of the BGL Online Summit, and that's a series of webinars that we are going to run across the next 3 weeks. Today's session, Full Circle Registry Compliance with Registry Direct, BGL CAS 360 and Xero, is co-hosted by Registry Direct. I'm pleased to introduce today's presenters. We have Tim, Product Manager, and Bethany, Lead Designer at Registry Direct. Registry Direct is the investor and capital management platform that companies rely on. They are one complete, cohesive system to raise capital, engage investors, manage dividends, and stay compliant across the entire investor lifecycle. Built with leading companies and continuously refined through real operational use, every detail is designed to eliminate risk and inspire confidence because certainty matters most. So before we get started with today's webinar, I will let you know that it is recorded. So if you need to jump off early or you just miss anything, you'll receive a link to rewatch this. And we also post all of our webinars onto our YouTube channel. We do have the Q&A function available. So if you can locate that in your toolbar, this is where you can pop any questions that you've got throughout the session, and we will run a Q&A at the end and answer any questions that you've got. So Bethany, I will hand it over to you to kick things off.
Thanks, Lily. Thanks, BGL and everyone for joining us today. We're really happy to have the opportunity to present our integrations to you. You might recognise Tim and I from our Registry Directions webinar, which is another great place to get the latest product updates from Registry Direct. As mentioned, I'm Bethany, I'm lead designer, and I've been with Registry Direct since 2017. Tim?
And I'm Tim, product manager at Registry Direct. I've also been with Registry Direct since 2017. Initially in a software developer role, moving to the product side a couple of years ago.
So moving along with, let's keep this working. All right. So today we're talking about our integration products with BGL CAS 360 and also Xero, and how they can help you achieve full compliance for your companies and a connected workflow between all your accounting tools. We've presented our BGL CAS 360 integration in previous years, but this year we've got something new to introduce, and that's our just released Xero integration. So this webinar will be especially helpful if you manage public unlisted companies, because there's particular compliance features which Registry Direct can help you out with, which are not covered by CAS 360. And also, if you are using Xero, you can now synchronize your Registry Direct contacts and transactions with Xero. So that's going to be very helpful for just completing the workflow between all your accounting tools. I'll just have a quick mention of our agenda today. So we're going to start off with just a quick intro to Registry Direct in case you're not familiar with us. Then I'm going to talk about our CAS 360 integration. I'll hand over to Tim, who will introduce the Xero integration. And then we'll do a demo of the BGL CAS 360 just to show you how it works and how to get started. And then at the end, we'll take some questions. So yeah, put them in the Q&A channel and hopefully we can answer them for you. So about Registry Direct. We've been in operation since 2012. And we've built our own registry management software, which is the only fully featured software as a service registry management platform in Australia. And this software is informed by our depth and breadth of experience, and real-world assessment with our users. And we have a pretty broad range of customers. We service unlisted companies, listed companies, and fund managers. And today, Registry Direct manages more than 140,000 investors and $24 billion in assets across 1,400 plus funds and companies. So first, let's talk about the BGL CAS 360 integration and how it helps companies, particularly unlisted public companies, achieve full compliance with their legal and regulatory obligations. So BGL CAS 360 will have your compliance needs for proprietary companies well covered. For unlisted public companies, however, we realised that Registry Direct could provide value in some key areas, which is why we created this integration. And those key areas or compliance gaps are shareholder meetings, quarterly tax file number reports, annual investment income reports, and calculating and paying withholding tax on dividends. And I'll just go into each of those in a little bit more detail. Starting with shareholder meetings. So public companies must hold an annual meeting of shareholders, allowing shareholders to ask questions and vote on resolutions. So Registry Direct will handle all the elements that go into running a well-run shareholders meeting. We have a simple setup wizard, and that organises everything in one process, including date, locations and resolutions, managing votings and restrictions, and inviting new investors. We allow for full flexibility between online and physical attendance and voting. And we handle all the investor communications, including notices of meetings, invitations, and proxy forms. And we can send those out either by email or post. Registry Direct also captures investors' preferences for receiving notices of meetings as per the Corporations Act. And investors can vote online via our investor portal, meaning you can record the results live as they come in. And the platform will produce a meeting result report and keep track of vote modifications via an audit log as well. Next, we have QTFN reports. So unlisted public companies must report to the ATO within 90 days any shareholders, TFNs or ABNs they receive. So instead of keeping track of those new TFNs and ABNs as they come in manually, our system can create a QTFN report from our report center just with the click of a button. We also offer cross-issuer QTFN reports as well, so you can save time by generating one report for all of your companies. And these reports are designed to be lodged directly with the ATO business portal. Another ATO report we have is the annual investment income report. The AIIR details dividends and franking credits paid to each shareholder and any tax withheld. It must be provided to the ATO by October 31st each year. And the AIIR specifications are updated regularly by the ATO, so our system keeps up to date with all the specs, the latest specs for you. And with Registry Direct, you can generate this fairly complicated report with the click of a button. And like the QTFN report, it's designed to be lodged directly with the ATO business portal. And lastly, we have calculating and paying withholding tax on dividends. So unlisted public companies are required to calculate and pay resident and non-resident withholding tax on dividend and interest payments to the ATO. So withholding tax is calculated according to varying rates, both for withholding types and treaty companies. And we maintain both of those rates tables in our platform. So when you pay a dividend through our system, it automatically calculates the withholding tax on payments, saving you doing it manually. And you can access total and individual withholding tax amounts for each dividend payment in a payment summary report, which I've got an example there on screen. And we also produce payment statements for each investor, which includes their individual withholding tax. So those are the compliance features, but I also wanted to quickly mention some other registry management tools, which this integration will help you take advantage of. We have a portal for shareholders, where, as I mentioned before, investors can vote, but also access their communications, their transaction history, and also their payment and tax statements and other things like that. We can allow advisor read-only access to the investor portal, so advisors can keep up with their investors' investments. We have a communication center, so that makes shareholder engagement easier. We have a dividend payment process, including producing ABI files and managing every other step of your payment process. And we have capital raising features. So this includes a branded online application form. Tim's just going to talk a little bit more about those two features also when it comes to the Xero integration part. And for our Registry Direct users, hopefully there's some of you out there today. BGL CAS 360 also offers a number of compliance management tools which you won't find in Registry Direct. So those are pretty helpful things, such as preparing board minutes. They have an automated annual review process and lodgement of ASIC forms. Using e-signature technology for signing and audit control. And also accessing all the other great features offered by BGL within their ecosystem. So our BGL integration completes the compliance part of the workflow. And I'll hand over to Tim to talk about the financial parts with the Xero integration. Over to you, Tim.
Thanks, Bethany. So we've shown how Registry Direct and BGL work together to keep your statutory records and compliance under control. The next piece of the puzzle that we've been trying to solve is your accounting. Many firms are still entering the same information into multiple systems or manually reconciling differences between their registry, accounting platform, and company secretarial software. Our new Xero integration removes much of that duplication by keeping Registry Direct and Xero synchronized automatically. The Registry Direct integration links an issuer in Registry Direct, be it a company or a fund, to a Xero organization. When setting up the integration, everything starts with accurate contact data. So during the setup process, Registry Direct links your holders, investors, with your Xero contacts and can even create new contacts automatically where required. Once they're linked, key information such as names and HINs or SRNs stay synchronized. If you're using the BGL Xero Practice Manager integration, those contacts can potentially flow through into your BGL applications as well, helping to keep all three platforms aligned. Registry Direct also has the ability to alert you to any integration setup discrepancies, which make it easier to identify and resolve any problems before they become an issue. Once you're up and running with the Xero integration, you can start syncing events in Registry Direct to your Xero organization. So whether you're processing dividends, distributions, doing capital raises or capital calls, or processing transactions in the form of allotments or redemptions, Registry Direct can automatically create the corresponding accounting transactions in Xero. So whether that's creating a bill or an invoice, receiving funds for an invoice, or even issuing securities, the operational event only needs to happen once. Registry Direct takes care of investor communications, updating the registry, and reflecting the accounting event in Xero. I should point out that this does go both ways. Sometimes an event is triggered in Xero rather than being triggered in Registry Direct. For example, you might receive a payment for an invoice via a bank feed in Xero. In this case, Registry Direct is notified by Xero via a webhook, which triggers the corresponding in Registry Direct. And this update may be adding a receipt on an application in Registry Direct and or sending out a communication to the investor via the Registry Direct Communication Center. The real benefit we're aiming for here is that your team no longer has to enter the same information into multiple systems. Registry Direct becomes the operational source of truth for investor activity, while Xero remains the financial source of truth. The two systems stay synchronized automatically, reducing manual effort and improving accuracy. One thing we've learned along the way, even though it's a new integration for us, is that every organization has slightly different accounting workflows. And that's why our Xero integration has evolved and is designed to be highly configurable, allowing our clients to choose how Registry Direct interacts with their chart of accounts and accounting processes. We're continuing to expand this flexibility, giving clients even greater control over how different registry events are reflected in Xero without changing the way they work. Let's take a look at the life cycle of an application, for example. There's 3 touch points: creating an invoice to send to the applicant when the application is made. A second touch point is marking invoices as paid when the application monies are paid by the applicant. And finally, the third touch point being issuing securities. The default Xero posting rules for each of these application touchpoints are first configured at the integration level. However, each of these 3 touchpoints can be overridden in the setup for a particular offer, and they can be overridden again for each individual application at the time of processing, giving users default actions at every stage with the flexibility to override if the need arises. Together, we like to think that BGL, Registry Direct, and Xero can create a connected workflow across company secretarial, investor registry, and accounting. Instead of maintaining 3 separate sources of truth, firms can manage corporate actions once, with compliance records, investor communications, and accounting updates flowing automatically to the right systems. This reduces manual work, improves accuracy, and gives your team more time to focus on delivering value to your clients. Back to you, Bethany.
Thank you, Tim. So I'm now going to jump into the BGL demonstration. So I'm just going to go over what it does, the problems it solves, and how it works. And I'll just start off with an overview of why we built this feature. So CAS 360 and Registry Direct share a very similar data structure in that they both deal with companies, securities, shareholders, and transactions. And if you're using both platforms, you'll probably be updating these data structures separately. So completing actions in one platform is going to create discrepancies between the two. And so identifying and eliminating these discrepancies can be quite time-consuming and error-prone. And so what our integration aims to do is to provide visibility on these discrepancies and alert you by giving you an action list on what you need to do to get your systems aligned again. So to get your systems connected. It's a pretty simple process to connect Registry Direct with CAS 360 data. I'll just double check I'm still online. Yeah. So you start by going to the Client Center in Registry Direct, and the Client Center is a top-level platform for managing multiple companies. So in the Client Center, you'll go to the Integrations menu here and just click Connect to your BGL account. So that will take you through to the BGL authorization screen. It'll be prompted to log in if you're not already. Otherwise, you'll just go here and just simply authorize Registry Direct to access your BGL data. And then that will take you back to your Registry Direct platform where you'll now be connected like this. And so the next thing to do is click on View Your BGL Data. And this is the BGL company management screen. Basically what we do here is we match up our BGL companies with our Registry Direct issuers. So if we hop over into CAS 360, we can see we have these 4 companies here. And they're the 4 companies which you can see on the left side here. They've just been pulled in from CAS 360. So there's 2 ways to match up your companies in this screen. If you're an existing Registry Direct customer, you probably still already have your issuer set up here. So you can simply match your issuer with the BGL company. And then click Create to create the reconciliation, and that will kick off the process. If you're not using Registry Direct, but you are using CAS 360, we have an import process, and that's by far the easiest, quickest, and most fail-safe way to import your data into Registry Direct. And this will import the securities, the shareholders, and all the transactions, and set that all up into an issuer for you in preview mode. And we'll have it all ready synced up. So it's a very simple and time-saving feature to get onboarded. So once you have matched or imported, and I've imported one here already, Demo Import Company, you just click View Edit to see the reconciliation. And so that's taken me here into the Issuer Center, which is a portal for managing a single company within your client umbrella. And so here we are for Demo Import Company. As mentioned, this issuer is in preview mode, so I can do all my setting up in here without worrying about emails going out to investors. And here is where you can access all your registry management features. Right now we've gone into the integrations menu and BGL to the reconcile company screen. And then the first thing you'll see here is a number of integration settings. And this allows you to tailor the type of data that you want to reconcile according to your use cases. Also in the settings area here, we have email notifications. So what we do with the reconciliation is we have a daily background task that will fetch all your BGL data. And this process uncovers any unmatched records or variances in data, such as maybe you have holders who aren't matched up or balances don't match. So if something like that is detected during the nightly reconciliation, we send an email to the emails listed here, just letting you know the action points that you need to take a look at. And that email will link back directly to this screen so that you can just click straight back here and see what needs doing. So the main functionality of this feature is these 3 tabs here. We've matched our companies up already, so now we need to look at our security classes, our holders, and our transactions. So we have a filter for each of these tabs. It's the same for each one. It looks for the unmatched records and the records with variances. So we'll just click off those, and we can see here that we have both of these BGL on the left here and Registry Direct on the right here. Both have the security ordinary shares, and those are matched up. And we can see that the total security matches as well. If they didn't match, you'd have a little alert there letting you know that something's out of whack. So we've got our securities matched up. Now we can move on to the reconcile holders, and we can see there's something happening here with this little alert. So again, we have CAS 360 data on the left and Registry Direct data on the right. We started with the filters are all checked by default. So by default, you only see things which you need to action. Everything else, which is fine, is hidden by the filters. So we can see here that we've got some unmatched holders. So we've got 2 here on the left, and we've got some unmatched holders on the right here. So unmatched means basically there's records that we've pulled in from BGL, which we haven't matched up with our Registry Direct records. And so we just simply need to select the holder from the list to match them up. And once these records are matched up, you'll receive notifications of any variances between the two. And this will also allow you to reconcile this investor's holdings and transactions. And so the other filter here we have is variances. Here you can see we've got a little alert on the name row, and you might any of these rows might have an alert letting you know something's not right. So here it's just the name is a little bit different. So we might choose to either sort that out in our records, or we can choose to ignore that, which means it won't give you any notifications about that variance unless either of these names changes again. Okay, so moving on to the transactions tab. I'll just click those filters. So this works in a similar way to the other 2 tabs. It'll show a holder in CAS 360 with one in Registry Direct. It'll show each of the shares that those securities that those holders have. Here we've just got one, but they might have holdings in several securities. And it'll compare the balance, and if there's a variance in the balance, you'll get a little alert. And then if you've chosen to reconcile transactions, you can show the transactions for each holder, and also see if there's any variances between them as well. Yeah, so that's the reconciliation process. And the other thing to notice actually is we do pull in fresh data on a daily basis, but if you've made modifications in one platform and you want to update your data right away, you can just click the refresh and that'll load in the new data and do another comparison for you. So, yep, this integration is going to help you use CAS 360 and Registry Direct side by side, making the most of the features of both systems while keeping your data in sync. And that's the demo part of our presentation.